Watch Party rolls on. Today we return to 2016, a season defined by close games, wild finishes, and individual plays that could swing final outcomes in the blink of an eye. This season began with two thrilling wins over UNH and Holy Cross, but after a pair of tough Ivy League losses, Dartmouth had a date with Towson of the CAA to get back on track. Hi, everybody. Welcome to Week 5 of the Woods Watch Party. I'm ESPN Plus Dartmouth football broadcaster Tyler Murray. We're reliving Dartmouth's first ever game against Towson today, and with a first-time matchup, we're happy to have some more first-time guests on the broadcast. First, let's welcome in the offensive line coach from Hanover in his office today. It's Keith Clark.
How you doing, folks? Great to be here. Great to relive one of the high points of the 2016 season, beating up on the CAA.
And this is really exciting for us. We've got two players with NFL signings on their resume. First, let's go to Minnesota for Charlie Miller.
What's up, guys? Good to be here.
Charlie joined by his fellow defensive back. In Arizona, it's Isaiah Swann.
Hey, everybody. Excited to be here. Let's get this thing rolling.
Today's game is brought to you by the Hanover and West Lebanon Domino's Pizza. Perfect for at-home tailgating, they have everything you crave for game day, and they're still offering 100% contactless delivery. Place an order today. An interesting matchup, as we said, the first time ever. We'll start the broadcast now, and it's come to us on the Ivy League Digital Network live in Hanover, at least at the time. And this Towson team from the CAA, Coach, I'm glad you mentioned that. What was the preparation like? We know UNH was a common opponent, but what were your impressions of Towson?
Well, they're an outstanding football team. They're a full scholarship program at our level, and not too recent history before that. They had been to the national championship game, and we knew we had our work cut out for us. We were putting out a lot of young guys on offense. We had coming off a championship season. I think we started 4 sophomores in the offensive line, a new quarterback, a couple really, really young receivers. So it was a big challenge for us. And I knew the defensive coordinator personally. He's an outstanding coach, so I knew we'd be challenged in a lot of ways. And here we are, first play. We're off to a auspicious start.
It had been a couple of tough losses in the Ivy League after 2 really impressive wins over UNH and Holy Cross to begin this game. So not the best way to start. And I want to bring you in, Isaiah, first. What was the feeling for the team coming in? I wonder, would you have rather just gone back to Ivy League play and started trying to make up some ground, or was it good to get a bit of a reset game to see what needed to be fixed non-conference?
No, I think it was just good to get a reset game. I mean, we wanted to, coming off of those 2 tough losses, we just wanted to get back next Saturday and get a win as fast as we could. So it was good we played these guys.
What do you think, Charlie?
Yeah, same thing. We knew Towson was good. I mean, I think a few years before this game, they had made it to the semifinals in the double A. I think they lost to NDSU or somebody like that. So it was just good to play a good program and kind of get our feet back.
Yeah, 2013, they beat Eastern Washington in the semis, 35-31, and then North Dakota State, like they tend to do, blew them out in the championship game. So, yeah, this Towson team is no joke, no question about it, and because of the tough snap, they forced a 3-and-out early on.
Yeah, I'm just glad we weren't punting from our own one. Ryder Stone, made a nice play and against the nickel defense there, and we were able to run it out and give us a little breather, and at least punt from our own turf, on our side of the goal line. And got a good punt to boot.
You think Coach Mack was chewing us up, Charlie?
Oh, yeah.
You did get a illegal block in the back there on Towson, so that'll bring him back a little bit. And good to hear you guys are involved on special teams. And we talked to Drew Honeycutt a couple of weeks ago. He's the holder for the field goal kicks. Is that extremely unique in college football to Dartmouth, where you have so many great skilled players involved in special teams, or do we see that more than I'm realizing?
Charlie, go ahead.
I'm not sure, actually.
They're going to go after this young secondary.
Yeah, I'm not really sure. I mean, I think we just try to use our best athletes as much as we can on the field.
Yeah, I think you got to, there's always that fine balance when you're a coach is to like to preserve some of your starters, but you've got to make sure that, everybody understands it's a big part of the game. And games can be won and lost on special teams, so there's got to be quality people out there.
Isaiah, give me the scouting report you guys had for Towson. I believe they had a star running back who was injured. Of course, you're dealing mostly with receivers and tight ends. What was your impression of these guys?
Yeah, so the one thing I remember about Towson is they were really big and physical. Like, I remember that being on the scouting report. All their linemen and their running backs were just really physical, state-wise and like on film and statistically. And then they also had a really good wide receiver, I think number 25, that I was trying to follow around to cover. So that's what I really remember.
Freshman from Queen Creek, Arizona, Chandler High School.
Yeah, I think fortunately for us on defense, just because it minimizes some of the complexities, is that they were, in early down, they were a high formation football team. They were going to try and just bully off the ball. So they got into situations like this.
In coverage, Darius George able to help break it up. We're looking for Romeo.
Pretty deep secondary, as we know, guys, and that seems to be the story of the defense, at least all the games we've been watching. I think this was a bit of a younger defense, right? Graduated a good amount of players from the year before. Do you have any recollection of what the training camp battles were like trying to win those starting spots? Isaiah, I know you got a lot of playing time just as a freshman, which is pretty rare even at Dartmouth. How'd you pull that off?
Yeah, this is actually my first start, so there is a lot of bad in this game for me, being my first start. But, in training camp, I had to go against, Danny Mack and Darius George, JB on the other side. Yeah, I was really just bottom of the depth chart, and we just had so many injuries early on in the year that I ended up rising to the top and playing, to my surprise. So that's really how it happened, just injuries.
Yeah, we had a lot of good corners that year coming into the season.
This was your senior year, Charlie, right?
Yep.
So it was essentially – this was the year where Flo was one of the biggest returning guys, or was he already graduated by now?
No, he and I were the same year. Yeah, so he was, say him, Cooper on the D-line. Yeah, I think those were our two main guys returning. I'd only started 4 games last year, so.
Had 14 yards on that first carry on the first possession for Dartmouth, another 4 there. Dartmouth
starting a tough field position again, our 11. This was kind of the story of the game early on. With an inexperienced offense,
Thompson last week had
it was tough.
game 3 catches, 53 yards.
I think Jack Hennigan was starting to come into his own, getting more, even though we hadn't won a lot, he was getting more confident throwing the football, leading us.
What a game. 32,
trying to figure out who the guys were that he wanted to throw the ball to.
2 interceptions. The first one not his fault, but
Hunter Hagdorn being a guy
who keeps getting better week to week in his first year as a starter.
How much do you work with the offensive line and the quarterback coach? How much do you talk with Jack Hennigan, picking up protections and things like that, or is that just a separate entity for you?
Well, at this point, I was coordinating, so quite a bit. And Jack and I would meet on Fridays, talking about protections and just trying to get a sense of what really his comfort zone was throwing the football, because. Honestly, they were, like I said, we were pretty inexperienced in the offensive line. And, they were a physical football team, and we knew we'd have to throw it in order to compete in the game. Run it appropriately, and when we could, take advantage of Ryder Stone, had some talent. But so Jack and I did. We spent some time together. But I also got that from our quarterbacks coach as to what he did well in practice and what he felt comfortable with.
11:24 to go. We're already on our third possession, and we're not even 4 minutes.
What was your guys' opinions of CAA teams? Do they have a certain reputation? Is it like FBS, obviously, let's say, Big Ten, that's ground and pound, Big 12, they're airing it out. Does the CAA have any kind of reputation that you picked up on when you play those teams?
Who else is in the CAA?
Well, you got UNH, so it's really the biggest consistent opponent you guys played. James Madison usually comes out of there.
Yeah, I think it's a mixed bag. I mean, it used to be the old CAA, which was the Yankee Conference, used to be line up in the eye and try and punch in the face. But it's really evolved, and there is quite a differential of styles of offense and defenses in the CAA. Former head coach of Dartmouth, John Lyons, is the defensive coordinator at UNH. And not much has changed about John, even since when I competed in the different schools. But I think it's, a CAA team comes up here too, and hey, it's an Ivy League team, and it's not an easy trip to get to Dartmouth, as everybody knows, and so that's a big advantage for us. Their excitement level, thinking, hey, we got to beat the teams in our league in order to make the playoffs, may not be as great. So you got to use that to your advantage.
The line of scrimmage, snap away, Knudsen, quick hitter, short of the line of scrimmage, short of the line to gain. The completion's made, and then first down for Towson.
It is a lot different for them, though, when they lose 2-3 games at the beginning of the season. They're not totally out of the playoffs. And at this point, there was 2 losses in the Ivy League. And I believe, looking at Rick Bender's stats, the only teams to win an Ivy League title, or at least a share of it, with 2 losses in conference play was Dartmouth decades ago. But it was definitely an uphill battle for you guys. So it was this was an interesting game to kind of get back on track, and it seemed like early on, at least, the defense was taking care of it.
Now they do give the hand up the middle, and
right on cue, a big run.
40-35, tumbling forward at the 30.
Is that Charlie Miller on the tackle there?
Yeah, this running back was a good back. I remember he was their backup too, and I remember thinking, like, how is this guy their backup?
Right tackle for Towson got.
Well, they're got a hat and a hat there, so
Wethington stays in at running back. They bring in a tight end on the left side of the formation. Tight end is Tanner Vallely. It's a snap.
I don't remember much about the quarterback for these guys. Do you guys know if he was touted player or just a guy? Or
I don't remember him being like a multi-year starter, but do you remember Swanee?
I remember he had a big arm and he was mobile. And he was pretty good at leading the offense. I mean, they got some drives, in previous years he was there slinging it around. So I thought he was pretty good.
Yeah, he kind of looks like Big Ben.
Yeah, I think that's what Coach Mack called him all the time this week.
10 at the 18. Towson in a scoreless game.
Yeah, Ellis Knudsen is his name. Throws for over 300 yards in this one.
A delay by the running back, Wethington, as he gets stacked up right at the line.
Don't remember that.
Miley drags him down, and it's a pickup of.
Threw a couple to the other team. We'll be checking on that pretty soon.
Yeah, I mean, our defense played a great football game. I think, Coach Dobe says as the game goes on and he gets, more in tune to what they're trying to do and who they're trying to exploit and feature in their offense, that really plays into our hands because he does a great job of taking the primary options away from teams.
Yeah.
Handoff goes to Wethington, shakes far side, tripped up. Tangled up at the 15-yard line, so it's third and.
I think like the offensive line, we were somewhat inexperienced in the defensive line this year.
Towson has a very good field goal kicker. He is 6 for 7.
A little bit of pressure on Isaiah and Charlie a bit with some new guys up front, but.
So here with the ball on the 15, that's certainly.
This is Jack Trainer's first year starting also.
Field goal attempt if they can convert here on third down.
Third and 7 at the 15. Need to get it to the 8. Knudsen, snap, throw, touchdown. Caught in the end zone for Towson.
All right, the least fun part of a Woods Watch party, breaking down the other team's touchdown. What'd you guys see?
6-0 Tigers.
I don't remember where we're in, but I know receivers getting inside of us is not the memo for the defense. So tough. 25 was the receiver that we were scouting for all week. So obviously he was a really good player, and sometimes good players just get there. So
yeah.
From New Pals, New York, coming out to attempt the point after the snap.
What are you feeling right now at this point, Isaiah? You're in your first career start. A couple of early stops, but then the touchdown happens. Do you feel like you're holding your own out there? Or you feel maybe overwhelmed? We know you were far from overwhelmed by the end of your career.
I wasn't overwhelmed, but I didn't get off to the start that I wanted to. I let a couple guys behind me. And this game is really when I realized I needed to hit the weight room, because I was probably the lightest guy out here trying to tackle these boys. So, I started to get a feel for the game as it went on, but no, I'm not panicking at this point.
Charlie, were you playing free safety or strong safety?
Free safety.
You're listening to ESPN for the Upper Valley, 94.5 FM.
Do you have a preference?
ESPN.com.
Yeah, I like free safety.
App as well.
I'm not a big get down in the box guy.
Who's that boy?
Already out ready to do the kickoff and the kick return with Hunter Hagdorn and Ryder Stone back to return again.
So your senior here, one of the few returning guys, Charlie, is obviously not panic mode, but what are you saying to your guys, or what do you think it needs to change when you get back on the defensive end, if anything?
Yeah, I mean, I think like Coach Clark said, Coach Dobbs is so good and Coach Mack are so good at making in-game adjustments that, I mean, we knew they were going to make the right calls going forward, and we just kind of knew we were going to play better.
This is their first mistake right here that helped us. We started the first two series deep in our own territory, and now we get a chance to, I think, ball in 35, which gives us a little bit more breathing room.
This leads me to a question I wanted to make sure to ask, Coach, and Isaiah and Charlie definitely chime in. This game, we saw one penalty from Dartmouth the whole time, 9 from Towson. And if it was easy to have a disciplined culture, everybody would do it. Everybody wants it, but not everybody has it. So is there a secret? How do you develop a team and a culture where discipline is part of it? I mean, people around here will tell you, Tom Brady, Patriots, never make any penalties. He goes to a new team, and they're having a lot of issues staying disciplined. So what is it, Coach? I'll start with you if there's any kind of secret formula.
Well, I think it's, a little bit how you practice, holding kids accountable for everything they do. From the simplest thing of if you're, running a sprint, you start behind the line, and that's more of an off-season thing, to, the connection that you have with your teammates, because everything you do has to be in service to other people out there. So if you're making a mistake, it's going to affect, not just the other 10 guys that are on the field with you, but it's going to affect the other everybody on the field that's participating, trying to win the football game, and which really is the entire program. So I think that is something that we continually try to emphasize, that it's not about you, it's about what you're doing for everybody else. And I hope that, I would think that plays into it somewhat. When you talk about the Patriots, you hear Bill Belichick saying, do your job, and he's always recruiting, so to speak, or putting guys on his team that may not necessarily be the high-profile players, but they're guys that are committed to the whole organization. So I think that has a lot to do.
Still looking for its first down. This is their third possession of the quarter.
3rd and 9 at the 36-yard line. Hagdorn goes in motion, wobbly snap. A pump fake, follow-away throw to Ryder Stone out of the backfield. He gets up to the 40, 45. He's got a
so we do things like this where, Ryder Stone was a veteran player, a guy that we knew we could count on, and we knew we weren't going to hold up real well in pass protection over the course of time just because of our youth. So you had to use things like this in order to, make some plays, to move the ball, move the sticks. So screens and things of that nature were.
Give it to the wide receiver, and he's wrangled down deep in the backfield on a
There you
jet
go.
sweep. It
You got the ball to number
6
one, but we
yards,
got punched in the
and
face.
it's now 2nd and 16. Tackle happened at the 40.
Yeah, how much time do you guys have to spend working on those blocking schemes for screen passes and all those different plays? And is there a part of it where you don't want to show too much of it with your conference play still coming up after this?
Yeah, you spend as much time as the importance of it in your offense. So if it's going to be a big part of your offense, then you got to spend more time on it. Well, I'm sorry. What was the second question?
If you're worried about that's fair. If you're worried about showing too much on tape, because you said nice screen pass, little jet sweep, I think that was.
Yeah.
You try to simplify the playbook so you're not giving away what you have for the guys watching the tape.
Yeah, it's funny. Once you get in a football game, it's like you're trying to win the game. And a lot of people, and I've heard a lot of people say, "Oh, it's non-conference, it's this, it's that." And, I don't think many coaches believe that because we're all too competitive and not willing to just say, "Well, we won't do what's going to help us win because we don't want to show it." As you move forward, you may do something similar. You just have to disguise it differently or line up differently and try and do it. But for the most part, we're trying to win the football game, so we're going to do everything we can in order to do that. So here, this penalty on them gave us a chance to move the ball. Now getting close to the red zone.
It looked like the previous week you guys were at Yale, and it was under 70 yards rushing, first time in a long time it had been that low. Is that just a good Yale defense that year, or was this a concerted effort to make some adjustments in the run game for this game?
Well, I think it was, again, they matched up well against us, and, we kind of got our butts kicked up front, with actually 3 sophomores, starting. And at this time, Matt Caskey, this is his first year of full-time starting. But we also, so we knew we had to throw the ball against them too, and we dropped a couple touchdown passes in that game, right off our chest. So we're, some of that youth, we're just still trying to get, figure it out. And guys got to grow up. Eventually, those guys grew up, and 3 or 4 of the guys in this offensive line that played in this day ended up being probably one of the best offensive lines I've ever coached in my career, in 2018 season. So sometimes you go through those growing pains. Pat Kilcommons is there playing center, and, he became an all-league player and just, really a key to a lot of success we had subsequently. You can see we're trying to get the ball to Ryder as much as we can. Hoping we don't wear him out.
Probably wishes he could.
Yeah, I know. There's no tackling in practice, guys. But did you ever have to match up with Ryder Stone at all, or take a hit from him?
No, not me.
Not the free safety. I've had to cut him up a couple times, but yeah, he's definitely. I think he is some type of weight room warrior. I think he squats 500 pounds, benches a ton, it's crazy. So when you hit him, it's really solid. So
David Smith,
he'll definitely wear down the defense.
Yeah, you feel that 500-pound squat when you hit him.
Yeah.
Because in the next few years after he graduates, it's a pretty effective, 3-headed monster with different guys, Rashad Cooper, Miles Smith. I'm trying to think, Dakari Falconer, Matt Sharin. But this seems like Ryder Stone's run game, at least in this one so far, is you got Dartmouth on the board there with a pretty good drive, guys, to give the defense a rest. That took up some time, and get him on the board. That's got to be a good feeling.
7-3.
I think that's the most important thing is, we were able to keep the defense off the field for a while. And, and come away with points. So when you, in a game where you're, theoretically overmatched a little bit, those little things become real important. And the fact that we kept their defense out there, we wore them down, and were able to make some big plays on them later in the game. I think partly because they did get worn down a little bit.
Right. If Eric Handy didn't trip him up by swiping his right arm out.
11 plays, 57 yards, and just over 5 minutes time of possession as we head toward the end of the first quarter.
But Dartmouth on the board, they sustained the drive, a lot of
I mean, I'm sure you guys, as much as you like to play, Isaiah and Charlie, I'm sure you guys enjoy the, not being on the field means we're usually doing pretty well.
Yeah, that's true. We like to see the offense move the ball. We like to see the offense put up points. The main thing is when you guys are on the field, it really gives us the time. It gives us the time to sit down and go over our adjustments, what their offense is trying to do to us, and what we're going to do to counteract it. So that's really the main beneficiary of that.
Yeah, the 3 and outs rushes that process a little bit.
Yeah, I was going to ask, have you ever been in the middle of an adjustment, like, okay, what can we do here? There's a punt, and then you're just yelling out ideas as you're running back onto the field?
Oh, yeah.
Yes, many times. We're drawing the formation on the board, and then punt alert, and then we got to scrap the whiteboard and get back to it. So.
Yeah, because a lot of us were on punt, so a lot of us.
Towson gets it at the 28.
Then you got Coach Mack
don't see that very often.
running out in the field, coaching you up as the play's going on anyway.
5 or 10 yards.
Right, they picked out a tight end who's 6'6", 260, but he is a ball handler. He's a tight end. You'd have expected him to try and make 4, 5, 6 yards before going down, even if he wanted to get down before contact. First to 10 at the 28. Nuts it, the snap. He's looking to throw. Dumps it off near side at the 30. Catch made and driven out of bounds.
There's Swann.
Able to get up to the 33-yard line.
You were in 38 in this game, not 25?
38. That was my freshman number.
Alan, why? Sorry about that. How and why did you get that upgrade for 38 to 25?
I think it was just open after my freshman year because Abram was a senior. He left and it was just open, and I asked Coach T for it. It was my number in high school, so that's what I was rocking.
Marker, and he's got it up to the 38. They needed 5, they got 5.
Miller and Orlati on the tackle. Orimolati on the year leads the team with 33 tackles coming into.
Box score says Charlie Miller on that tackle. You guys are getting more and more involved here as the first quarter winds down. Not that you weren't early, but showing up on tape, as they say.
Yeah, I remember this year I got in on a few more tackles than I did the previous year. Not having AJ Zuta in front of us.
Is that some type of roll weak coverage there, Charlie, or are you just playing the I formation down low?
I don't remember what that was.
On that play.
Miller remains out.
So it looks like you're to the field now, right?
Like you said, he's flexing the
yeah, I usually went to we usually put our strong safety to the boundary.
Hand off. Simpson again dives into the pile.
Yeah, I think we kind of called it backwards. He was technically the free safety, but was really the strong safety.
Malati once again on the tackle, but a good job by the Towson runner getting a couple extra yards after contact.
Substitution for them right now.
Dartmouth's going with 4 down linemen. A lot of
Going to wind up being the last play here on 3rd and 3 of the first quarter. They've given it to Shane Simpson 3 times in a row, their running back here.
A little overload. Looks like they're going to try and bully us off the ball here.
Shotgun snap, the direct snap to the running back. Wildcat Simpson takes it up the middle for a first down. He gets 4 yards and moves the
trying to wear us down, definitely.
We get a break here with the first quarter just about over. We will step aside and come back with quarter number 2. Right now it is Towson 7, Dartmouth 3, but just underway in week 5 of the Woods Watch Party.
Make your debit card green. Big green. Select from 16 options by visiting any Ledyard Bank location or calling 888-746-4562. Ledyard's online and mobile banking includes free personal mobile check deposit, so you can show all your Dartmouth pride on your home turf. Equal housing lender, member FDIC.
I'm Pierre LeBlanc, president of Engelberth Construction. For over 40 years, we've been recognized as one of the largest and most dynamic commercial construction companies in northern New England. As a premier builder and partner of Dartmouth Athletics, we have built many facilities on campus. And at Engelberth Construction, we truly believe in building relationships for life. Go Big Green.
All right, second quarter underway. Towson has driven to midfield, so not a lot of ground to cover as they flip the field here. Charlie, let's talk about the team's mindset right now. You said early they were confident in your coaching adjustments, being able to make proper changes, and obviously no panic down 7-0. What's the mood right now?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's good. I think at this point we realize we match up pretty well against these guys. They've got good running backs, but I think overall our matchups are good.
And by the end of this game, guys, Towson ran almost 30 more plays than Dartmouth did for a variety of reasons, and they're going to get hit with a holding call here, which is another narrative of the day. Do you notice that during the course of a game? Like, man, we've been out there a lot today. Isaiah, is that something that crosses your mind, or is it just all part of the flow?
Not in a game like this when it's so close. It's just all part of the flow. And as a defense, you kind of want to be out there. You want to get the stops for the offense and get them the ball back. So
Towson's at UNH next week.
As we said, Ellis Knutson, their quarterbacks, got a pretty good game put together here. Boone Stratton coming up, 22.
Yeah, it must be in either nickel or Colin Boyd must have got it.
Is it Jack yelling at you there?
yeah, we practiced a lot this week on cut blocking, and they came out and cut blocked me. I feel like I've never seen it before. So yeah, he definitely got on me for that.
That game's at Durham. JMU, number 16 of the
I could often hear him from the booth.
A throw made by Dessenberg again, close to the line of scrimmage, and it's only a pickup of 2 with a short pickup.
Now it's funny, you're seeing a lot of guys out there that were huge, impactful players, and for the next 2 years we ended up losing 3 games, 17-3. And then Jack Trainer, part of this past season's championship team as well.
Converted those third and longs. We'll see if the Dartmouth defense can get a hold right here, Adam.
Towson 3 of 4 on
little pressure. Dialing it up.
Oh boy. Oh, I got clowned.
Oh baby. Still got that ball?
Do I have the ball?
Yeah.
No, I think I just kind of went in the black for like 10 seconds, and I don't remember what I did with the ball, but.
Just as he threw the ball, probably got the timing off a little bit. Terrific diving.
Tony, how many picks did you end up with, like career-wise?
17.
And Isaiah Swann, the Frenchman.
The first of many.
Yeah, 1 of 17.
One solo tackle last week.
That is a program record, as I'm sure you know. 4 pick sixes, also a program record.
Boone Stratton had a couple.
Yeah, so,
first down, handoff, Knipes right, Dice's back left, up to the 47-yard line.
Good showing on first down there.
A lot of teams talk about the shot play after you get a big turnover near midfield like that. Is that not crossing your mind right now?
It's something Buddy and I were always talking about, but you don't want to put yourself in a bad situation either. There's 2 sides to that. I think if you got, there we used a delayed count. We drew a guy off, and it's built into our offense. If they jump off sides, we snap the football, take a shot down the field. But we're probably being a little bit more conservative because of our inexperience at this point. But again, you can see them continue to make mistakes, and I think this gave us a first down.
One coming up after that call in from our official crew. Ball gets marked across midfield to the other 48.
You know, so you got an interception now, a mistake by them,
Yeah, I'm pretty sure
move the ball across the field, and this is just, you know, whether or not it's
the uniform numbers got
kind of a false sense of security, but we're gaining some confidence right now.
But certainly seemed like Isaiah
Put ourselves in
Swann,
second
the
and
likely
one.
candidate for the interception. So
All these things start to add up, and when you got a young football team, you know, that confidence factor, it becomes huge.
Snap. Vito Penza with the handoff takes it close to the line of.
That's enough for the first down there. And across a lot of sports at this level, you hear at some point in a season, oh, these guys aren't freshmen anymore. These guys are upperclassmen now because of the experience they've had in their first season. Is there a benchmark point you look at to say, okay, this guy's ready, or we can't treat this guy like he's new anymore during their first season?
Well, I could tell you that, you know, up front and just with the offensive line, it's when they stop making mistakes. You know, that they're communicating properly with each other, and the issue becomes, you know, how do they match up physically? Because, you know, if you're playing against juniors and seniors, and you're a freshman or sophomore, you just haven't grown enough yet. You haven't developed yourself enough in the weight room in the off season. So that's why it's easier to play early and at the skill positions, because if you can run fast, you can run fast. Now, Isaiah just, you know, he mentioned that, you know, I realized I had to get in the weight room. You can still get pushed around, but you know, when force and strength are such an important part of the offensive line, it's you know, I think it's much harder to play early, especially in the Ivy League, where, you know, guys are staying for 4 years, and, you know, the good teams are generally putting juniors and seniors on the field.
Really did well at the start of last year, Adam, as a freshman, and then got banged up. He's a big, strong boy, hits hard. He remains at running back.
He's still in there. They've been giving him a heavy dosage on this drive. He adjusts.
The drive where he's starting to use a few more running backs here. Vito Penza, Bruce Dixon listed on the box score here. So is that Ryder getting a little fatigued, or is it just a matter of giving a different look to the defense?
Well, I think we had some different, you know, you put guys in to do some different things. Try to give people a blow a little bit. You know, if Ryder needed a blow, then, you know, maybe we put Vito Penza in there, and he had to. But there's, you know, guys have different skill sets, so you got to try and do things that match their skill set.
Changing the play here on 4th and 2.
I don't remember what we ran here, but head coach said go for it, so we ran power, and Vito's 240 pounds, and
Great job by the left side of the O-line.
I think we got it. We did.
Sure did.
There was a big hole there, and Penza
Ran behind Matt Caskey,
formation just followed him.
who future NFLer.
Down. Here it is.
And now we've got Bruce Dixon, the fourth, who's checked in as the quarterback.
And defensive guys, there's no special teams buffer there. It's you're back on D, or you're hanging out for a little bit long. That's going to be a stressful situation.
Right up the middle. He's got space to the 30, 25, 24.
So Bruce Dixon was a young quarterback for us, and, you know, we snuck him in there on first down after the conversion, and, you know, he had an interesting skill set.
Number 13,
He's a big, fairly athletic kid, and so again, just stealing a play, you know, just stealing a down right there.
Minutes that matter, and he first play, he runs for a first down.
Hannigan back up there, shuffle pass, Vito Penza underneath to the 20, 18, 17
So not a lot of explosive plays, but we're just kind of taking little chunks down the field, keeping the defense off the ball, getting ourselves into scoring position here.
5, maybe 6 on first down with the ball now.
And again, these are all confidence builders. The more this young offense is out there, the more they're developing, the more they're gaining experience, gaining confidence, and that was such a big part of it.
Cool. 3 wide to the left. Penza the running back, throw, Scaff, tight end, caught inside the 5 and tackled
RPO.
immediately after the catch by Keon Pay. Just shy of Pay.
Cameron Scaff there for 14 yards.
Yeah.
Coach Stevens loves to use
Yeah,
his
wish
tight
we had
end.
had Cameron around for, he had, unfortunately, had some injuries that prevented him from finishing his career, but what a talent he was.
One-handed grab last week. Couple of tight ends in, left side. It's Scaff pinch.
So a lot of what we were doing is we were trying to put our guys in the best scenario possible.
So we
checked it. So they were in a particular. In the opposite.
First lead of the afternoon.
That's first career touchdown for Vito Penza.
Pure option. Nicely executed. The pass was a little bit low. Easy to drop for a running back. Penza gets
That was a
Penza's
huge
knees,
drive.
Picks it up. And the sophomore from Youngstown runs it in. That's a pretty good drive. Penza ran twice for first downs. Dixon runs for a first down.
The extra point try is
That one, 10 plays, 57 yards, 4 minutes and 20 seconds, and 10 unanswered from the Big Green, and now they've got to deal with a much more confident Isaiah Swann after picking off that pass. You guys must be feeling good about your chances to continue shutting Towson down, even though they've had some success already in this particular season.
Drive for the touchdown. A 57-yard drive.
Vito Penza last week with a couple of receptions. Didn't have a
Well, I have some time, guys. We might as well hear a little bit about something we ask all of our guys. I love hearing the recruiting stories you guys have when you come to Dartmouth. And Isaiah, I know you were recruited by Navy, Cornell, a lot of others, and it's always seems to be a unique experience when guys get their first taste of Hanover and what it's like and try to envision themselves playing there. What was your experience like?
Yeah, so I had offers from the majority of the Ivy League schools and the academies. It ended up coming down to Harvard, Air Force, and Dartmouth. Those were my 3 visits. I went up to Harvard, no complaints. I really liked the campus. I liked the people there. Air Force, I just decided, the academy just wasn't for me. The service you have to do just wasn't for me. But I came to Dartmouth, and it's just something unique about the people up there and the coaches. They just really care for you as a person, not just a football player. And I just really felt it in my gut that this should be my home for 4 years. So that's why I committed.
How about you, Charlie?
Yeah,
similar to Swanee. For me, it came down to Harvard and Dartmouth. I had visited Harvard the weekend before, and then came to Dartmouth the next weekend, and no complaints against Harvard, but just coming to Dartmouth, there was an obvious feel right when you get on campus and you meet some of the guys on the team. It just felt like home right away. So it was an easy decision for me, so that made it a lot better. I wasn't kind of second guessing myself the whole time.
Right.
What was it like when you played against Harvard? Probably not thinking, what could have been. You're obviously happy with your choice because it got you guys really terrific success even after your football career.
Yeah, I mean, it was fun playing them. My junior year, obviously 2015, we had a great game, came down to the wire. But yeah, it was fun battling against them. Fun games for sure.
I wanted to beat them so bad. Out of everybody on our schedule, I wanted to beat Harvard the most. I knew that we hadn't beaten them in a while up until, our junior year? Yeah, junior year. My junior year. Yeah, but every time I saw them on the schedule, that was the team that I really wanted to beat.
Yeah.
You must have loved that Hail Mary.
Yes, that was. I'll never forget that game ever.
10 carries, 43 yards in the first quarter, but Knudsen takes a strike deep, far sideline, and that pass down
out of bounds.
35.
I can't remember if this was out of bounds. Oh, they gave it to him.
At the 35.
Dang.
No review yet.
No, yeah.
The only question was whether he had a foot in.
Let me see.
Here it is on the replay.
Yeah, he was a good receiver, though.
Yeah.
And the call is.
I remember he came to Jacksonville.
Replay in the Ivy League game. So.
Boy, that would have been a close candidate. Certainly, Christian Summers credited with a 25-yard completion. Knudsen to the air again, near side this time. Knocked away
Ooh, go
at
JP.
the 10-yard line by Jarius Brown. He went up and contested Andre Dessenberg.
That's the same play, just on the opposite side of the field there they ran?
He pointed out on him. He turned around at the last moment.
I think so.
Got a hand on it. Came reasonably close to intercepting.
Paid one side to the other.
Terrific coverage by number 24.
Ball far
Yeah, a
hash.
little different throw to the field than it is on the
Towson
boundary.
goes left to right.
Don't see too many of those completed.
Quarterback, redshirt sophomore Ellis Knudsen. He's listed at 6'2", 240. Hand off to the fullback, nowhere to go, right up the middle.
There's that young D-line. Making some nice plays here as we go along.
Your third-team All-CAA fullback had 3 carries a year ago. Has just
I'm
one
trying to
carry this
recall who
season,
some
but
of
he gets
these
one there.
who's on this.
Nick Tompkins, Charlie
Is that Corbin?
Pontarelli on
Corbin
the
Stahl?
tackle. Hold him to a gain of 1.
No, he was
There's
the
a
previous
bowling ball,
year.
5'11", 265.
Nick Tompkins, Jeremiah Duchesne.
97
Third
was
and
Nick.
9,
That's
ball
the-
spotted at the 34. Need to get it to the 25. A passing play. Knudsen looks right, fires deep, caught.
Hey.
Charlie Miller at the 10-yard line. He waves his way.
Yeah, it kind of threw right to me.
Down to the 27 where he was tackled, and the second
Hey.
Dartmouth INT of the
At least
day.
you can catch.
And a
You
nice
know?
run
Yeah.
back by Charlie.
That's what I tell everybody. What do you want you to do? Drop it?
Catch.
Right till you got to catch it.
Breaking the return. Here it is on the replay. Knudsen
Just
throws
good
it into double
positioning.
coverage. Back foot off his wrong foot. That's a nice interception.
That wasn't right
Back
to you.
upfield.
That would have gone over your head if not for a great catch.
Didn't quite break it.
Little
right,
high.
but 2 possessions for
Used my 30-inch bird to get up
Towson
there.
and 2 interceptions. Swann
We've talked
and now
occasionally
Miller
about,
with the ball
you know,
on their 32.
teaching Charlie a couple routes because he was one of the fastest people in the league.
Yeah, I would have loved to play receiver. Loved playing receiver in high school.
33-yard line. I think that Ryder Stone, who's found his way back into the lineup.
Were you recruited exclusively as a defensive back, or is it still up in the air?
It was pretty much exclusively defensive back.
Visit theirving.com to learn more. Jack Hannigan in the shotgun with 3 to the far side right. 6.5 minutes to go. It's another option. Pitch to Stone. He's trying to stretch far side. Dives ahead back to the line of scrimmage and maybe a yard or 2 close to the 35-yard line. And it is a pickup of
Is this part of the
2.
game plan, Coach? Obviously, Jack Hennigan has had some pretty good games to this point of the season, but you're noticing a pretty heavy dose of Ryder Stone and the running game as a whole so far.
Thompson comes off.
Yeah, you know, obviously in football you'd like to establish the run if you can. You know, it certainly makes throwing the ball a lot easier if you can run the ball. But some days you can, some days you can't. I wasn't really confident that we would be highly successful, you know, running the ball. But as the game progressed, you know, we did have a little bit of success. It was, you know, a little bit of a mixed bag. So, and then you know, Jack was athletic enough. He was kind of sneaky athletic in the sense that you can run a little bit of speed option with him, or you can run a quarterback draw and be effective. And so we, you know, had a couple of those plays as well. But you know, with inexperienced receivers and you know, not really knowing how well we would be able to protect the quarterback, you know, in straight drop back against their pass rush. You know, everything was, we were trying to be as controlled as possible and just possess the football.
Out of bounds, and Towson has it on Dartmouth's half of the field.
How hard is it to recruit offensive linemen or just any kind of lineman with, you talk about inexperience, you're trying to go for size, you're not sure how much they're going to grow. For me, it sounds like one of the more difficult positions to recruit.
Yeah, well, you know, you got to have a philosophy about what you're looking for. You know, there's a couple teams in our league that are going to recruit the biggest, strongest guys they can. You know, I personally believe that we need to recruit guys that are as athletic as possible and develop them in the physical part of it. And the reason for that is generally they're only playing 4 years. And so you don't have that extra year of development that you see in a scholarship situation. So I'd rather have a guy that's athletic and can move
Alec
And
McCrory
then,
on the first special
you know, if we're
teams
saying he doesn't have to play necessarily until his junior, senior year, you know, I feel that we have, from the time that we recruit him, we have 2.5 years to, you know, put weight and strength on. And Spencer Brown, our strength coach, does a fantastic job of that.
So big third down here for the Big Green.
But
4 minutes to go in the half.
yeah, it's not an easy position to recruit. I think that each team is looking for something a little bit different. And see, these guys are trying to just chip away at us now after throwing the ball down the field and you know, not having throwing for turnovers, which is really what we'd like them to do.
Fourth and about a yard and a half.
Win the battle of attrition.
Offense staying out on the field for Towson.
Nick Tompkins helping out on the tackle, so the defense came off.
This was a game where Dartmouth secondary had 11 pass breakups, 3 from Isaiah, who says here he had 13 tackles. Is that right?
It counts a lot of me, just receiver pushing him out of bounds, but yes, 13 tackles.
Wow. How about that play here?
Playing the game right there. Probably change the, you know, the momentum as much as any.
Turnover on downs, and you still got 3.5 minutes left in the half. Doesn't feel like a game that was 7-0 in the first quarter. Good turnaround.
I'm not sure I understood that call on their own 42.
Before halftime. Hannigan with the snap, another shuffle pass, pens up the middle, goes down to a knee. And they're saying the pass was incomplete, never caught.
Towson wants a fumble, incomplete shovel pass, I guess.
Yes, incomplete pass.
Hey, was an incomplete forward pass. Second down.
You mentioned the no replay earlier, Coach. First of all, makes these games go a lot quicker. Good, exciting pace. But second of all, there's a lot of second guessing of how certain games could have swung if you took 20 minutes to overturn a 50-50 call. But
yeah, but a lot of our football was played for 148 years prior to it. So
yeah.
Keeps it himself. 40-35 with a barrel roll across the 35 down.
You know, I always say if you're letting the officials influence the outcome of the game, then you know
other teams have been concentrating so much on the
you're
running
not
back
really
and that read option, but
setting your players up the right way. You got to tell them that there are going to be some bad calls, and they have to know that, and you got to have a mindset that when that happens, you got to move on.
Ryder Stone's the running back again. The two tight
ends. You got a short memory. The DBs know something about short memories, right?
Yeah, got to.
Far side right, snap from the center of the field, handoff. It's Vito Penza, the running back, and he gets the first down.
What did you guys think, Charlie and then Isaiah, about last year the NFL doing pass interference review? Didn't seem very popular, and they almost never changed it. But I wonder, from a defensive back standpoint, is that something you've been? Oh, finally, now we can see if I got worked over on call.
Yeah, I mean, I can kind of see both sides of it. Part of me is like, no review, just have no review, and like it should be a bang bang call, like what you see on the field. That's kind of my take on it.
It would drive me crazy because to me, a lot of what they call pass interference in the NFL isn't pass interference. So when I would watch it in slow motion and then determine myself that it wasn't pass interference, and then they would still call it pass interference, would just drive me crazy. So I'm just glad they got rid of it, call it what it is on the field, and just live with it.
He's outside of Hunter.
Yeah, that just seemed like a reactionary rule after Rams Saints in the NFC Championship game. But meanwhile, Dartmouth's driving here, and would you call this a chipping away passing game as well, Coach Clark, or it feels like there's a lot more variety with run, pass, and you're marching down the field once again?
Yeah, so we used a lot of RPOs, the run pass option here, where the intent is to run the football, but if they're going to play soft coverage on you, the quarterback was green lighted to just throw the ball on short controlled routes, and so they weren't a big, as far as I recall, they weren't a big press coverage team, which really gave us that opportunity.
It was a big end around 20-yard line, stacked up, and Towson comes up with a stop.
Forget whether
a yard or two shy.
You tried to kick here.
So 38-yarder coming up from
field goal.
junior from Quebec.
Well, the fact that you didn't remember right away, I wonder, did you have consideration to go for it here?
Well, you know, in the last couple of years, so it's been, 17, 18, 19, 3 years since this football game. There have been a lot of analytical studies about whether or not you should, go for it, once you cross the 50-yard line. And Coach Stevens has been extremely aggressive about that. And, part of it, too, I think there's been a confidence in the offense when you have a guy like Jared Jabino the last 3 years, and we've had a pretty senior or upper class oriented offensive line and tight ends. So there's been a lot more confidence about it. Our conversion ratio has been pretty high. But it certainly, as a play caller, it helps to know that ahead of time. But we've been very aggressive. I don't know that we felt the same in 2016 just because of our inexperience. And I think we were happy to just come away with points right at the end of the half there. Again, we possessed the ball for a period of time. And, it's not only time off the clock, but it was, time that the defense had to rest and could go out there now with fresh legs and defend a 1 minute of football game and not allow them to do anything
Now it's
dramatic.
Smith driving a ball, sidewinding down to the end zone, a line drive over the head.
Our kicking game this year was pretty solid too.
Kickoff return man out of the back of the end zone for a touchback. Towson with the ball.
David Smith just hit that field goal from 38 and knocks that one out of the end zone. I don't know if you guys saw Sunday Night Football most recently when there was a big analytics debate. The Vikings could have gained a yard on 4th and 1 and run out the clock, or kicked a field goal to go up 8 with 2 minutes left in Seattle. They tried to go for it, run out the clock, but they got stuffed. Russell Wilson goes down the other end and wins the game. And people are thinking, well, why don't you kick the field goal? Then you're up 8. But analytics, apparently the percentages say you have a better chance of just gaining 1 yard and winning the game right there. So it's a big part of the game now.
Yeah, and those analytics, though, that differential might be 1 percentage point. I mean, I don't know exactly in that situation.
It was around that, yeah. That's interesting.
So could be a 51% versus 50%. You're damned if you do and damned if you don't, just because people are going to question you no matter what.
Clock stops at 49.
That's why they get paid the big bucks.
Knudsen, snap, looks left again. This time it's caught on a similar underneath route. Romeo.
What's the defensive mindset right now? Isaiah, you got a couple of tackles here early on. I think I've asked this every week, but is there a yard line you start to have to really bump here? It's a bit of a soft coverage because you don't want to give a big play, right?
Yeah, our big thing is not to give up the big play, especially not right before halftime. We really didn't want that. So I was dropping you with deep coverage, but they kept hitting these out routes right in front of me, and I was getting impatient. But just trust Coach Mack; he'll figure it out.
Middle of the field, delivers middle of the field. Catch made by Shane Simpson, the running back. Across midfield to the 46-yard line, and a timeout called with 27 seconds.
It's hard to go a long ways down the field in a short period of time throwing 5-yard passes.
For the first down to the 30.
Did just use the timeout.
Getting close with 22
And
seconds left.
they're picking up some ground here.
You know what happened? I think they called one, but there was an injury to Dartmouth, so they probably didn't use that one.
Knudsen, snap, looks back, throws deep, high in the air, far sideline, out of bounds and incomplete. Some jockeying on the far side.
That wasn't at you, Isaiah. Did you feel like they were throwing at you a lot early because it was your first start? Do you think they had that knowledge and wanted to test you?
17 seconds left.
I can't say for sure, but I think so. I was targeted a lot this game. I was a freshman. I had number 38. I had a lineman face mask at this point. Like, I was the perfect candidate to start picking on. Definitely.
With 2 wide split each side. The snap. He drops back, steps, throws, fires, incomplete.
I bet if there are any Towson fans watching the Woods Watch Party, looking back, thinking, why did we try to pick on Isaiah Swann back in the day? And Charlie Miller, too, getting on the trampoline for that interception. It's a defense the last couple of years, for me, it's been maybe defined more by the big guys up front, great linebackers. We've seen Jack Trainer, but here a lot of the big plays happening from the secondary, and you guys have put your stamp on this game already.
I mean, the front really did its job, what it was supposed to do this game. You know, it stopped the run, got pressure on the quarterback, like we're seeing right here. So it was really up to the secondary to make the plays.
A sack loss of 6 as the clock winds down with 2-1.
Yeah, they struggled with our 3-down package and pass protection for whatever reason.
Of the year, that was just so important because with no timeouts left, nothing.
And that play may have very well saved some extremely valuable points down the stretch. I thought a field goal at the very least was coming there, but the Dartmouth defense holds, and they've got themselves a 13-7 lead at the half.
Hi, I'm Chelsea from Wise. I'm at home practicing social distancing just like all of you. For almost 50 years, Wise has supported survivors in times of stress and crisis. Even during these unusual and uncertain times, we are still here for you and your loved ones. On those inevitably hard days or moments when you're not feeling particularly strong, we are here for you every hour, every day. While it feels like everything in our world has come to a halt, violence doesn't stop just because there's a virus. Call 866-348-9473, and to chat with us online, visit our website, wiseuv.org. Call 866-348-9473. You are not alone, and you don't have to be in a crisis to call.
Domino's knows a thing or two about delivery. So when we saw people were getting tacos and burgers delivered like these, we had to step in. Introducing our new chicken taco and cheeseburger pizzas.
What? Oh my.
Now the best way to get a taco or burger delivered is to get a Domino's pizza.
Quarter number 3, and thanks to 13 unanswered points from the Big Green, Dartmouth has a 13-7 lead after the halftime break. And as we always like to do as we come back from halftime, it's tough for these guys to flash all the way back to exactly what was said in the locker room. If you do remember something, great, but give the folks at home just a generic understanding of what's taken care of at halftime and what changes are made. Coach Clark, we'll start with you.
Yeah, sure. The first thing is for the coaching staff. Well, I should say the first thing is, Buddy gets the team together and just kind of recaps and, makes whatever quick point he wants to make about just the dynamics of the game and where we think we are. And then we get together as coaches, for a few minutes and talk about, what we think we need to do to, adjust or exploit schemes that we haven't tried yet, maybe plays that we haven't got to, matchups that we like. And then we get into the locker room and try to replay those to the players. And just a lot of it is just reminders, things that we've talked about during the week. Maybe talk to the players individually that you trust and say, how do you feel about this? Or, how's this matchup working? What do you feel that they might be doing different? So, the whole, Al Pacino halftime speech, firing up the troops and completely changing the dynamic of the game is somewhat of a myth. Sometimes you do have to get up their butts a little bit and just establish a sense of urgency. But for the most part, staying calm, having intelligent decisions about what we need to do to make ourselves play well in the second half.
Boyd rides him at the 40-yard line up to the 42-yard line, and that's an 18-yard.
Thanks, Colin Boyd, there for picking me up on this
scrimmage on the ground for Towson.
Back-to-back runs.
Charlie, I know you got stories about Boyd. Go ahead, just give us one. He's one of a kind, so you got to give me something.
Virginia.
Oh, yeah.
A hotbed, Virginia, Maryland, a lot of this roster coming.
Trying to censor what I can say.
Minute gone
Yeah,
in the
take
third
your
quarter.
time. We appreciate that.
13-7. Fake handoff. Knudsen looks to throw.
Yeah, I mean, he was a
Throws
blast
it
to play
deep
with.
across
I mean,
middle
all the
of
DBs were
field.
fun to play
Incomplete,
with.
knocked away. Great coverage by
It really
Isaiah
felt like this
Swann.
year, I mean, we pretty much had
Swann's getting his chance and making the
5
most of
new
it. That
DBs
was a
pretty much.
well-thrown ball.
I mean, I started 4 games.
Last
Lucas got a good amount of time. Danny Mack got a good amount of time last year, but none of us were like slated starters before this year. But it really felt like we were always confident going into games and throughout games. It really felt like we were multi-year starters. Even Swanee, like coming in first game, like getting his feet underwater, getting a pick right away, like it felt like he had been starting more than just one game.
Fake snap.
Well, they just went after him there. They tried to set it up with a play action.
Got me singled up.
Yeah, no doubt.
14
Post,
yards
yeah.
and another first down.
5'10", 196-pounder has run for 3 first downs.
You guys mentioned Bavaro was probably a silly question, but from a layman like me, was there anything significant where his dad was a Super Bowl champion? Was there ever any talk about that, or is he just like another one of the guys?
Yarder from Weathington. 3 carries, 42 yards in the second half. Balls across
Yeah, he
midfield.
was just another one of the guys.
On the 44, the snap under center. Knudsen fakes a handoff,
Yeah, great
rolls
player.
out.
Great
Got his
teammate.
Fullback holder.
What I loved about Lucas is he always did his job. He was like a robot. Like, he just never messed up in the game. I remember getting our grade sheets back, and he would have 0 minuses, like, almost every time. I'm like, how do you do that for 60 snaps? Like, it's crazy. He was automatic.
Yeah, Lucas definitely flew under the radar. he could have been, yeah, he could have gone on and played after college.
Swapping a lot at linebacker. The plans at linebacker impacted immediately today when senior linebacker Alex McCrory went down.
His dad was a tight end, but for a Belichick coach team, so the do your job comes full circle here.
Incomplete, knocked away by Isaiah Swann, who's been
Sure that was
wet blanket in coverage so far today, and it's 3rd and 10.
Well, Dartmouth moves him back and forth. Sometimes he aligns on the left.
Man, they are trying to rough you up here, Swann.
Yeah, I'm starting to hit my groove though. Got a couple pass breakups. Starting to slowly build the confidence that I belong out here with these boys. So
that certainly was their mindset. Is we're going to keep going after the freshmen.
Down lineman for Dartmouth now. Arimilade gets into the crouch. Here's the snap. It's a throw. Knudsen delivers. Caught down to a knee. Might be short of a first. It is as Summers comes up with it.
Are you surprised they keep going after you even with the interception from back in the first half? I'm surprised they're going after him, but
a tough spot at the 37 for Towson.
I wasn't that surprised. I mean, their best player, 25, would always line up in the boundary. So obviously you're trying to get the ball to your best player. So I can see it coming.
15 yards, too far to kick. So go for it. And all indications are that the Tigers will do that.
I know I've asked this before. Your cornerbacks, you just have one side, Isaiah, or did you kind of have to shadow a certain player?
Yeah, JB played a lot of field, and I believe Danny Mack was hurt this game, so I was in the boundary.
He drives forward to the 28-yard line where he's piled upon by a few big green defenders. That's a first down.
Nice job by Knudsen, the Towson quarterback, finding Summers open over the middle.
I'm sure Towson felt at this stage they had to come out and make a statement.
He's got the only touchdown.
But it's interesting that they got away from just trying to line up and bludgeon us off the ball, and now they're spreading it out a little bit. It's like they got an eye backs here.
Remains Weathington. It's a handoff. Weathington. He jumps left, throws a stiff arm, gets stacked up behind the stiff arm.
Not running it effectively like they were earlier in the game.
Kept himself alive for a moment, but ultimately doesn't get a whole lot out of the play, and it's 2nd and long.
He made a little bit out of nothing with that stiff arm.
Which is probably a sense of frustration on their sideline. Like,
Miley goes off.
Why can't we knock these Ivy League guys back?
Defensive coordinator Don Dobes, as he always does.
Hey, did you kind of feel that sense of, I don't want to say disrespect, but we asked earlier, what's your sense of the CAA? What do you think the sense for other teams against you guys was, even with all the banners you've been able to hang in Hanover over the year?
The wide receiver, Christian Summers.
Go ahead, Swanee.
Jack Trainer is having the best game we've seen.
I come in with the mindset that every out-of-conference opponent thinks that we are lesser than because we are Ivy League. It's just a small little tidbit that can fuel me during the game, and I don't think we lost an out-of-conference game in my 4 years there, so that was a good sense of pride for me that, the Ivy League is not to be messed with.
10:50 to go in this third quarter. Dartmouth with a 6-point lead. The snap. Knudsen fakes the throw, hands it off. A delay. Wethington tripped up trying to get to the first down marker.
This is, as we said at the very beginning of the broadcast, first time ever these two teams have faced off.
And it's 4th and 1.
And
Here comes the field goal unit.
with this game, the Big Green had won 7 in a row against first-time opponents. So I was originally going to ask about where your preparation gives you the advantage or where that makes a difference and how you prepare for a team that hasn't seen you and you haven't seen them. Maybe is that a team coming in and underestimating you and you guys having that chip on your shoulder knowing that you're probably a lot better than they're giving you credit for?
Snap is away. The hold
kick
is up.
Yeah, we watched a lot of film going into this game.
Down the middle for
I remember most of it because I think their starting running back was hurt the previous game, so most of the film was on him, and he was kind of like their horse. Obviously, 25 is a good receiver, but they really leaned on their running back, so we kind of didn't know what they were going to do coming into this game. So yeah, film was crucial, just getting tips on like 25's routes, how he runs his routes, trying to get a feel of who their backup running back would be coming into the game.
I'll remind you that every Monday, it's the Buddy Tevens Coaches Show. Monday night, 6 o'clock, hosted by Brett Franklin and Wayne Young.
Pretty good drive to start the second half, Coach Clark. That doesn't change your approach to your opening drive of the third quarter, does it?
No, I think that we felt we just got to keep doing what we're doing and possess the ball, keep it moving forward, try to play mistake-free football. Not get ourselves in terrible situations behind two sticks, which is hard for any offense to recover from. Never mind, an inexperienced group of people. So my whole thing was keeping the game at one stick to overcome. On every series. So, and I think, like you said, we had one penalty for the game, and so we were, for the most part, able to do that, even though, so as I tell guys, sometimes a 1-yard run or a 2-yard run isn't a bad thing as long as the ball is going forward.
Good field position to start this one off for Dartmouth's offense.
It's extremely interesting you bring up that at the beginning of this drive because run seems to be the initial plan, and maybe you don't break through right away, but it seems like Ryder Stone's been knocking on the door for most of the afternoon, and after getting that halftime break, I don't think Towson's all that excited to have to tackle him again.
Yeah, and I think we have a better idea now what they're trying to do defensively, and because they were 3 down front, they were moving the front in particular direction. I think we felt they were, when we were in the gun and the back was offset, they were adjusting the movement of their front based on him, adjusting the support based on him. So there we put them back in the I formation, or in the pistol formation, if you will. But those are all little things that you're trying to get a feel for.
Ever fluid offensive line.
Then where is the weakness in the defense, and what do you have in your game plan that can kind of take advantage of?
Ryder Stone, he slips some tackles across midfield, sprints to the 40, throws a stiff arm across the 30 to the 25-yard line.
Well, the hole didn't look that big from our angle up the middle. Looks like it had to squeeze through at least at the start.
That's about a 38-yard field goal.
Yeah, Ryder was very explosive through holes. Like if he sees a crease, he's accelerating through and he's getting through it.
Yeah, and we also felt that their nose guard was not a great transition guy. He was huge and strong, but he didn't get off blocks very well. So that's what happened there, is we were able to just dance with him long enough while Ryder ran by him.
Abram McQuarters is in the game. They throw it to McQuarters to the back.
Here's the big one.
A dime from Abram. A dime.
We had been sitting on that one, and for the right time had to be on the left hash and down pretty close to the red zone. So I think we used the extent of his arm right there.
Drew Honeycutt, who was left unmarked because the defensive backs had crept up.
Abram McQuarters to Drew Honeycutt, 23 yards.
At the 10-yard line now,
And when I watched that play, as we got this game on our
for the
schedule,
line drive,
Coach Clark,
and it's lasered
the offensive
through by
line,
Smith. The
they
extra
want
point
to
good, and Dartmouth with
try
a
to
1-10
present that it might be a run, it might be a
over
pass, but
8:45
if you're run blocking, you're going to get an illegal man
in
downfield,
this
so they
third
kind of have
quarter.
to act a little bit. What's that like for an offensive lineman?
A big
Yeah,
ball
so it's
delivered by the
a
Dartmouth offense
very
going to the
aggressive
bag of
pass
tricks.
set. We set on the line of scrimmage, so there's a little finesse involved to it, a little play acting where you have to simulate you're running the football, but there's a point where you've got to transition yourself back to becoming a pass protector. Hopefully you've drawn up enough guys in the coverage, especially on the second level. It should not have affected the corners, but we certainly were hoping to affect the safeties. So we only had one guy to beat, and we had the middle of the field to throw the ball into, which ended up being the case. It was a well-executed play, and these types of trick plays, so to speak, we work on a number of times in practice, and not necessarily just that week, but since preseason, there are certain ones we like, and so when the opportunity is there, we've accumulated enough reps at it that we can execute it well.
It's an up play for Towson at the 12-yard line, handled across
Charlie,
the
that's
25, and a big hit
64 yards in 3 plays as Trainer gets in there. So you guys had a minute and 18 seconds to make your adjustments on the sideline here after they got a field goal on you. Is that you're rushing back out on the field with some semblance of an idea in your head?
Yeah, maybe a little bit. I mean, they definitely drove the ball on us more than we would have liked.
The problem on that kick return was
just from a defensive player
195
standpoint, we have faith in
wide receiver
Coach Mack
Sam
and Coach
Callahan
Jones
was
that they
trying
get
to
us in the
hold
right
off
calls.
Jack Trainer, and he wouldn't be denied.
Dartmouth with 4 down defensive linemen,
including Pilar and Arimolade on the field as well, prowling. It's a handoff. Running back takes it near side across the 35 up to the 40, where he's shouldered out of bounds by Colin Boyd, but only after 11 yards and a
That's one of those 13 tackles, technically.
Technically.
Court.
Not one of the pretty ones, but stick my face in there. I'll take it on the box. On the stat sheet.
Tackle, right?
Now he
Yeah.
starts off this drive with another first
That's
down.
good.
He is a tough runner.
I think we heard this from
Only 196 pounds.
Jeremiah Duche a couple weeks ago said his tackling went from okay to great during his time. Is that something you found as well, Isaiah? Eventually, you were knocking down any pass before you needed to make a tackle anyway, but did you see that in development?
Yeah, I think it came from just getting in the weight room and getting bigger and just having the confidence that I can go and tackle somebody. If they catch a pass on me right here, Lord. I'm telling you, it was an action-packed day for me.
Good for a first down and ultimately a
And Charlie, you said you weren't too much of a get down in the box guy, or come up in the box anyway, but I don't know. I think you're selling yourself a little bit short. It seemed like your tackling at this stage was very strong.
Nice throw.
Yeah, I
nice
mean,
catch.
it's funny when people hear that we don't
30-yard line,
tackle
ball
in
spotted
practice.
middle of the
They think we
field.
just don't do any tackling.
Gets the call.
Like, how do you get the games? But like, we probably do more
Whole team
practice
rubbernecking to the
tackling
far
than
sideline
anybody
as the call
because
comes
we're not
in
going
from our head
live.
coach. Snap high, handed off.
And because we're not going live, you have to form tackle. So you kind of get the muscle memory to wrap up, thud with your shoulder, not just launch your body at somebody. So.
That's good pursuit. Run 30 yards to get there to make a tackle.
And as we've seen in the past on the Woods Watch Party, it's a run to the ball defense. So even if you miss one, you got someone right behind you.
Yes.
Played at Don Bosco Prep, Ramsey, New Jersey is where he calls home. 7 minutes to go in the third quarter. Knudsen fakes the handoff, rolls out, gets a block, looks to throw across the middle. It's incomplete. Christian Summers in some traffic across the middle.
Charlie Miller.
When you get to third downs like that,
right with him, got a hand on the ball.
Does your preparation, maybe it's easier against an Ivy League team, but do you have maybe a short list of routes that might be coming at you? Or we're talking a lot about their top receiver. You guys know what he does well, but do you have kind of like a few options? Like, okay, it might be slant, it might be a a button hook, that's about it, or is it kind of just you have to read and react?
I actually spend a lot of time looking at what offenses do on third down. That's like a big focal point when I watch film, because all offenses run a very specific set of plays. And usually everything is right at the sticks. So if it's 3rd and 8, they're going to run the route at 9. And really, I just sit on those routes. That's what I did for 4 years.
I think it was Trainer coming in from the outside.
Charlie, that's about right?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, if you're a young QB listening to this, take some notes on Swanny's tips, Mr. 17 interceptions.
Barrow, the senior nickelback. We talked about him earlier.
How many of those interceptions were against Yale in your career?
Down and 8. Big down for the Big Green here.
Because they're a big sticks team, right?
Yeah, and I think both of them came at the sticks. I think I only had 2, but
okay.
Big sixes. But yeah, both at the sticks.
I guess when you run it back for a touchdown, it seems like 3.
Yeah, right.
It's worth 3 when you score.
Another fourth down stops there. Is that another surprising call, Coach Clark, that they went for it, or at this point?
I think it seems to me they're getting a little anxious, a little impatient, and probably frustrated on their side of the football. You know, and they've seemed to stop throwing the ball outside, because that didn't work. So now a lot of what you're seeing are underneath routes, crossing routes, trying to get in front of the safeties, and or things in the curl area. But yeah, it's you can get frustrated as a play caller. Trust me, I know. And especially when you think you're supposed to be doing something well, when you think the matchup is in your favor. Here's another mistake by them.
The 2010 lead, Dartmouth.
Or is this on us?
On the offensive.
Yeah, when that flag comes from the back,
but
almost always fatal.
Yeah, and so what happens is, you know, we have I used to have this a saying in the written on the wall in the offensive staff room. It says, "Stick to the plan," because you spend 90 hours a week, you know, preparing, and all of a sudden you're making emotional decisions on game day.
I guess they took the second one because
and when your emotions come into it, usually your emotions don't help you make good decisions,
10 yards from the spot of the foul, so take the one
especially frustration. So you have your list of play, you know, your third down plays, your, you know, whatever it is, your situational stuff, and you know, you don't want to be repetitive, like Swanee was saying, that you're only doing this or that. You want to have a little bit of surprise, but you certainly want to try to, you know, exploit the things that you saw.
He gets taken down, in fact, for a loss of 1. And it's
that holding penalty was the only penalty by our count against Dartmouth the entire game. And to answer the previous question, my quick unofficial research says 2 interceptions for Isaiah Swann against Yale. And in 2018, I forgot it was this many. We had 9 the whole year?
Yes, 9 the whole year.
Yeah.
3 in one game against Holy Cross.
Yeah, Holy Cross really helped me out. I even stole one right before halftime on a Hail Mary. I was like, why not?
That game, that was on the road. I was watching that one from home. I think you guys didn't give up a first down until midway through the fourth quarter.
Yeah, our defense was on that game. We had a really good game plan coming in. I can't remember. I think their quarterback also got hurt, which, you know, obviously was a disadvantage for them.
And Charlie, you saw some incredible defenses. This year's team, as we talked about, it's a little inexperienced, but showing some terrific signs. Could you kind of feel, I don't know if anyone could have predicted how good the defense would be in 17, 18, 19. I mean, we're talking historic numbers, but did you kind of get a feel that the young guys on this team were going to be able to take this next generation to the heights they reached?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I mean, as seniors this year, it was a tough year. But we knew, I mean, there was no doubt, like, just watching and playing with the young guys like Swann and Trainer and those guys, like, it was obvious that they were going to have good years to come. So kind of made the tough year a little bit better for us.
With his arms hanging down, Towson brings the rush. The punt is away by Kepley. It's a good one down to the 23-yard line. Lyrics Clue calls for a fair catch, and that's where Towson.
Okay, Coach Clark, here's a question from someone who didn't play college football. This might sound obvious. Why do we see that shield on punt blocking coverage in college, but almost never in the NFL? Those three guys right in front of the punter. Is there a reason for that?
I haven't been involved in special teams in a few years in the punt team.
Could ask Coach Mack a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, you know, there's certainly different philosophies. I think some of it has to do with the type of punter you have. You know, a lot of people are getting into this rugby kick now. And but I do believe that people just have a philosophy about, you know, what they think. So punt, the initial part of punt is all pass protection.
Around the league, Fordham now leads Yale.
They line up X amount of guys in the line of scrimmage. You got to make sure they can't get to the ball. So I have had those discussions with Coach Mack about it, but as to why he chooses to put, you know, three guys behind in the wall, and I don't know. I'd have to ask him. And I don't, you know, in the NFL, I haven't. You kind of
scores aren't helping, Wayne.
Stumped me there. I haven't even noticed that. I haven't watched a lot of NFL punts, to be perfectly honest with you.
They got the red zone now. They just do all the scoring anyway. You don't watch punts.
Yeah. There you go, Swann. Another one, baby.
Another one. Tried to hit another post on me.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, I didn't realize they came after you this much.
Oh, God.
It was crazy.
I mean, rewatching it's like, geez.
Yeah.
When are they going to learn?
By Swann. I think it's his first start. He's played a little bit.
It really was a coming out party for you, Isaiah, because the broadcast team was fantastic and good friends of mine. When you made that first interception, they were like, "Who was that?"
Yeah. Hey, I don't blame him. Yeah.
Yeah.
Just a new guy coming in. I didn't expect all this, so.
Rather, Wethington stretches far side, tries to turn the corner, can't do much. It's
Big play, flow, run a lot
up on third and long, and the punting unit.
What makes him so good, guys? He's been all over the map in all of these Woods Watch Party games we've seen. It's almost, for me, I've taken him for granted as loading the stat sheet and tackles. But Charlie, what makes him so good?
Yeah, he's so explosive. It's unbelievable. And that just like natural ability. Such a hard worker. I mean, his first few steps are faster than, I mean, I ran a 4.3 and I don't know what Flo ran, but like his first steps are way faster than mine. So yeah, just his explosion off the line, his strength.
And he's got unbelievable bend coming around. Coming around on a tackle. Like I'm on his side, so I could always get a good angle of him coming around the edge. And his bend was unlike anything I've ever seen.
For Towson and their special teams unit, nice job by the senior Jake Ryder to deliver a doozy there.
So, Adam, here's the time you want one of those drives.
We wound up with a fourth down stop and then a 3 and out. You've outscored them 20-3 since their first quarter touchdown. And I wonder if a team like Towson, who we mentioned earlier, played in the national championship game just 3 years before this. So they've got probably seniors on the roster right now, and they didn't make a play like that.
Johnson at the 35 to the 20, up to the 15, 10, and a big tackle delivered by Emery.
So that felt like the only thing keeping them in this game, a big turnover like that.
With the ball at the 11-yard line. They'll set up
so one thing you can't afford to do when you're playing against a team like this is
DeAndre Wallace, the big linebacker, is right there, makes the play. And Towson trailing by 10 now in great
I forget what the statistic is, about 70% of the teams that win the turnover battle win the game.
No,
it's very high like that.
Clock, it's down on 1st and 10, first play of the drive. They go to the air and it's picked off. Jack Hannigan now 12 of 18 with
fortunately,
just 75 yards
over the course of the time I've been here, we've been, other than this particular year, we've been
stiff arm thrown by Summers as he's
when they told me I was going to do the Towson game, this was the play that I was like, I really don't want to have to address. Because I jumped over the cut block, and I was like, yes, I got past the cut block. I'm good to go. And then I just flat out just missed the tackle. It was, yeah, that was probably my worst play.
So they're at the Dartmouth 5. Ooh, INT.
Well, luckily for you, no replay, so we don't have to dwell on that too much. And I do have a turnover stat for you, Coach. When the Big Green are forcing more turnovers than the opponents, 48 wins, 13 losses in the Buddy Tevens era.
There you go.
It's going to be first and goal with
it's a huge part of the game.
Left to go from
Yeah, so
he dove. It looks
yeah, we spend a ton of time on ball security and the emphasis on that.
They've got 4 cracks at it if they
I know on the other side of the ball, they spend a lot of very creative ways of teaching and practice.
Holder,
how to get the ball.
With the handoff, Weathington slices towards the goal line. A late effort, and he's in with the second or third try. Over the top of the pile for a touchdown. Towson gets
and they give it to him, touchdown there. Pretty decent second effort. It seemed like he was on top of the pile, which probably helps a little bit.
Run. And it's 2016 Dartmouth. You're seeing their lead chopped down yet again.
Well, it's not only giving up the ball and a chance at some points, but where it happened, pretty deep in Dartmouth territory. Towson starts off on the Dartmouth 11. Need one first down.
That play right there was a good example of just
Towson back in it.
The physical part of the matchup. We had one of our defensive linemen blocking their offensive lineman literally, a yard and a half in the back.
Snap is away. Hold is good. Kick by O'Neill is
so
up and good.
I think when you talk about the differences between CAA team and Ivy League team, that we've really closed the gap physically. The type of players that we're recruiting and how we're defining when they can win those individual battles like that, it shows up really well.
There's a certain sense of ownership after a turnover like that.
There's always a little time after a score where I like to throw in some random questions. Charlie, we're coming to you. I know you're coaching a little bit high school football in Minnesota right now. Are there any maybe lines you hear yourself saying that you're like, oh, I got that from Coach T, or well, here I go against that was Dobes' line. This wisdom or even exact sentences you're using from the coaches that coached you here?
Yeah, pretty much like everything I do. Even like all the drills we do, like I do the Swann, this like starting out with the W drill and all that stuff. And just yelling at them to stay low. It's like I feel like I'm Coach Matt.
His touchdown.
But yeah, I mean pretty much everything. I mean, yeah, they were great coaches, and why wouldn't I steal everything from them?
His career range was 4.5 to 1, which was the all-time.
They got you working with just the defense right now, or what's your current role?
Yeah, D-backs.
He would go months without.
What a luxury for that Minnesota high school.
Remain in this third quarter. 2017 line drive kickoff delivered deep to Hunter Hagdorn. He bobbles at the 10, jumps ahead to the 20 with some speed across the 25, 30, 35, and take it down.
We got some really nice returns. Hagdorn did a really good job.
Freshman.
Another good. Yeah. Field position that Dartmouth will start with on this drive.
A couple of nice returns by Hagdorn today. He had one of.
See if we can suck some time out of the game here.
Takes it out to the 37. So good field position once again.
You need to talk to Jack Hennigan at all, just to keep his confidence there. As I say that, the theme of Jack Hennigan from hearing from his teammates is that he's the last guy who's going to panic or oversimplify things just because he doesn't want to throw a pick, right?
Yeah. So, Jack was one of those guys that never seemed to get, rattled. And, I think as much as you ride these guys and get after them during the week in practice, on game day, you got to be their best friend because, the last thing we want is for them to feel in a panic, and so if we're showing panic on game day, then, that's certainly going to compound the issue.
Jammed at the 42-yard line. They give him a yard.
Especially when you're, again, inexperienced you want to support them as much as you can.
Dartmouth certainly want to keep this drive going.
I never felt like screaming at a guy on game day. Other than effort plays, I mean, I think getting after a kid about his effort is one thing, but if he's making a mental mistake, then there's probably something that was wrong when you're teaching. You didn't prepare him well enough. He's making a mental mistake. You just don't want to screw up.
Hannigan looks to throw, bubble screen. Stone gets wrapped up at the ankles and nowhere to go. That was read beautifully by Towson's defense.
The momentum with Towson here, guys, and we'll probably get a longer answer at the end of the start of the fourth quarter. But defensively, are you feeling a little more pressure here? Maybe 5 minutes ago in real time you had a 10-point lead, but now it's going to become essential that you keep them off the board from here on out.
Yeah, it's essential to keep them off the board, but we, no panic. They adjusted. We'll come back. We'll adjust. It's like a chess match, so we'll be all right.
But
yeah, I mean, besides their first, I think it was their first drive, they really haven't driven the ball all the way down the field on us.
Most of this third quarter, but Towson responding with a touchdown, and now they'll be setting up shop at their own 25-yard line.
Dartmouth led by 6
And aside from the interception, really, from Hennigan, the offense has looked a lot better. Helped out by a 40-yard Ryder Stone run and then a trick play touchdown pass. So they're piecing the offense together a little bit here, but certainly not out of hand.
Takes the handoff to Wethington, looks to throw, deep far side, caught for a pickup of 12 yards. A catch was made inbound by
flag on the play there is, as we know, not on Dartmouth. It's going to be holding against Towson. Obviously accepted. They'll bring it on back, and we will come on back after the third quarter break. Dartmouth now clinging to a 3-point lead as we head to the fourth in the Woods Watch Party Week 5.
Growing your business isn't just one thing, it's a million little things. Should you lease, rent, or own? How fast can you get that part? Does it fit the budget? That's what your local CAT dealer is here for. With expert advice, flexible financing, and industry-leading equipment, you can get the job done, day after day. For a limited time at Milton CAT, get 0% for 60 months on select new CAT compact equipment.
As a trusted choice firm, the Richards Group has been committed to local communities for decades. We take the time to get to know our clients, their needs, and budget. We're independent, so we work for you, not an insurance company.
We use our expertise to find our clients the best home, auto, and business coverage at the most competitive price.
Our team provides consulting services for employee benefits, retirement plans, human resources, and leadership development.
The Richards Group. Prepare for tomorrow by contacting us today.
Towson's got the ball back to start the fourth quarter, but 1st and 20 because one of their 9 penalties in this game. We'll see if the Big Green can keep Towson off the board. Remember, this is the first ever matchup between these two sides. The Big Green came in having won each of their last 6 games against a first-time opponent. And Isaiah, if you thought that teams didn't give you the credit you deserved, maybe, or maybe you manufactured that because of the Ivy League reputation, do you think Towson at some point realized, uh-oh, we really have to flip a switch here? These guys are a lot tougher and more talented than we realized. Did you think there was a moment where they had to try and re-engage?
Yeah, looking back on it, like as I watched this game, I think that moment came right after halftime in the third quarter when they started switching up their game plan. It seemed like in the first half they were, I formation. They were going to run the ball and just run it down our throats, and that's how they were going to win the game. But it came out after halftime and realized that wasn't going to be the case, and they started trying different things. So.
Delivers a throw. It's
I missed that tackle too.
He dances around with much progress.
All right, that's the pursuit. That's why I got the pursuit coming for me.
4 yards, and it's 3rd and 16.
And Zach Hussein, a defensive nose guard, comes all the way to the sideline to help make that tackle.
You hear from defensive linemen that they like when it's an obvious passing situation. Do you DBs like it as well, knowing that you're going to have a chance to make a play out there on a ball? Charlie, we'll start with you.
Yeah, I would, when I knew they were going to pass it. Kind of just sit back and read the quarterback.
2 wide receivers.
Not have to tackle a big running back necessarily.
Yeah.
Dutson stands tall.
Yeah, I agree with Charlie. I loved it.
Caught, but it's
loved
short
it.
of a first down
Loved
on the
passing
far
situations.
sideline. Short by 2 yards.
They needed 16. They got 14 there.
4th and 2.
And Towson will wind up punting to. Charlie Miller's getting set back there. You said this game was kind of a platoon for punt returning back there, or what was your usual role on punts?
Yeah, I was usually the returner. I think this game we went with 2. Hunter came back there.
9 catches.
I don't remember why we went with 2. Something that we might have seen or something.
Charlie Miller waiting.
I think we just wanted to try to get a lead blocker in front of the returner.
Yeah.
Do you remember how it went down that you became the punt returner? I mean, not an easy job, especially with bounces like that. But it comes down to skill, speed, or what helped you stand out to get that important position?
Yeah, I don't remember. I think Danny Mack was another punt returner, and he obviously was hurt. But I think once Coach Mack saw that I ran a 4th year, he's like, oh, we should put him back there. But,
ball is dead.
And now Charlie Miller.
Oh, this one, if they didn't call it down, you would have got loose on this one.
Football. And really, the players coming downfield for Towson acted as if the play were
alive. Yeah, it says fair catch in the box score. Did I see a right hand go up there, Charlie?
And that's what blows it dead.
I don't remember this one. I don't think I would have called fair catch there. But
maybe trying to get your balance or something, and they thought that was a decoy.
Low snap, Hannigan reaches back, picks it up. Now he takes off, dives ahead, and he actually
It was a good poised play by Jack. He muffed the snap and was able to pick it up and turn a bad situation into a positive situation.
Dartmouth's junior quarterback. Hannigan from
Actually ended up being a 4-yard gain, first down.
That's right.
Hannigan's run 3 times today for 20 yards.
Can add 5 more to that after that carry. A couple of tight ends on each side of the formation. Snap, fakes the handoff, stands back, wants to take a strike. Hunter Hagdorn with it knocked away from him at the 40-yard line. But a flag comes in, and we might be seeing.
They're going to get defensive holding on Towson here. That looked like a
pretty good coverage.
Almost perfect throw there from Hannigan.
I think at halftime we decided we could get Hunter Hagdorn, who had great speed, even as a freshman, matched up on their safety and was able to. I thought he was going to run by him for a touchdown, but in the end,
the ball should go to the
still worked out. We got a
penalty on the sophomore Lyrics Clue.
Defensive holding.
5'10", 175-pounder.
It was for Towson that they did that, because if he didn't hold, Hunter was just going to beat him and probably take that for 6.
2 wide receivers left with.
That's your eventual Ivy League Rookie of the Year this season, Hunter Hagdorn. So obviously a lot of skill. Do you remember Coach Clark? I don't know if you're directly involved in recruiting him, but trying to bring a talented guy like that, was there competition for his services? And did you realize what a great player you had on your hands?
2017 Dartmouth.
Well, yeah, we knew he had a lot of talent. I don't remember what his other offers were. I think he had, some of the, Texas FBS schools courting him. But he had posted a couple videos of workouts online as a high school senior, and really they were impressive. So it was, and I think a lot like Charlie and Isaiah have indicated. We came here, and I think this is the type of place to either completely fall in love with very easily and say, I want to go somewhere else.
Just as Pettis Dixon was in coverage, but
came up here, and
Emery Thompson fights back for the football. The ball is now
we did establish a good relationship with him, and this became his home.
Pistol formation, the snap.
First member of his family to attend college. He had offers from Illinois, Colorado State, Harvard, and Cornell. So similar to Isaiah and Charlie, Dartmouth beats Harvard in the recruiting battle, which is obviously easier said than done.
Yes, yeah, and I think they're certainly winning a lot more of those battles. This is its own unique place and has a lot of unique characteristics that people are going to really glue themselves to.
Here's the throw. Hennigan hit as he's thrown, incomplete. Charles
I'm telling you, if I'm 50-50 Harvard Dartmouth, you show me that Hail Mary clip, and the decision's made.
Your linebacker.
It's easy enough.
Under pressure there. He got hit
Should put it on the admissions website.
Ball fell to the ground before it got there. Not Hennigan's fault. And here comes Bruce Dixon, who came in the first half and ran for a first down on a quarterback draw.
So this is
Third down.
3rd and 7. These are now we put Bruce in. I obviously don't want to turn the football over here.
He fakes the throw. Now
Gonna try and run it.
Down, gets taken down for a
some
loss.
type of quarterback draw. They didn't fall.
Loses a yard or two, and now it's 4th and about 8.
Or we didn't execute it.
50-yard field goal, which is probably out of
Looking at a 50-yard field goal about.
Oh, here comes the punt team.
4th and 8, too long to go for it. And the decision is punt here, and that shows a lot of faith in the defense. Or was it, I guess, what was the decision-making process there? Was it a hard call at all, Coach Clark?
Well, I think, like you said, it was too long a field goal from for our kicker, and I think the opportunity maybe to pin him down in, as well as our defense is playing at this point. They're playing with a lot of confidence. And it turned out exactly the way we wanted it to turn.
He did that intentionally. He had reverse spin on it. Up in the air and hung.
That's a long ways to go for any offense.
Gunners to get down the field, plant themselves at the 1-yard line, and prevent the ball from going into the end zone. That is a nice football.
The way we, set ourselves and got behind the punt was absolutely perfect. That was probably as important special team play right there as
the 2 cornerbacks, Jarius Brown and Isaiah Swann, just got an earful. What they need to do.
Charlie, you hoping for like a safety blitz here and try to get that safety in the end zone, or what are you hoping for?
Yeah, I wish.
Wethington makes a man miss, fights for
There's the breathing room they needed, and Towson knows they need yards here and they need to kill clock, or and do it quickly rather.
Is this the 7-minute drive?
This is the 7-minute drive. Yes, they with that first play, and you wonder if that had been stuffed or maybe incomplete pass, different play call, how much differently this drive could have gone. But that's obviously a important first down play.
Snap, handoff again. Wethington dances outside, far side, slips by Charlie Miller, lowers her shoulder, 15. Dives 18, and that's where
Number
he's
of missed
taken
tackles
down.
by me and you, Swann.
2 plays, 17 yards on the ground by Wethington in a first
Well, what's the
down.
fatigue factor like, guys? I mean, maybe in the moment you don't realize it, but we talked about it earlier. Towson ran 30 more plays than Dartmouth did. You're out here for a long time on this particular drive. 4th quarter, it's not shocking that Towson finds a few creases in your defense down the stretch here. I mean, are you guys huffing and puffing, or is it just a matter of them making good plays?
No, I think it was just them making some good plays. I mean, Coach Brown over my 4 years, he's done a great job of getting us conditioned and prepared for games like this. But, 4th quarter, you're up 3 defenses on the field. This is what you want as a defensive player. So.
Lucas Bavaro and Falarin or Malati. They're in for the duration. Charlie Miller at 1 safety.
The 20-yard line, the snap comes for 2nd and 8. Here is the snap. Wethington with the handoff, tripped up in the backfield, goes nowhere. A flag flies in as well. So not only a no gain, but this
4 runs in a row
for Dartmouth. It's 3rd.
Yeah, from Wethington, the same guy. And on that one, a holding penalty is going to be declined by the Big Green. So it was. The box score is 9 penalties for 85 total yards against Towson, but that's only the accepted penalties, obviously, so could have been a lot more. So you could have gone for 2nd and 17 or 3rd and 7. And you'd take the 3rd and 7, but you figure they're probably going to pass here, right, Isaiah? You're probably locking in on the passing game.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right here, right now.
3rd and 9, I said. I should have said rather.
Gives you better field position, but it gives the other team 2 shots to make a first down instead of 1. We'll see how the decision pays off.
The snap on 3rd and 8. Fake out of the backfield. Throw to Dessenberg. Middle screen. Makes a move at the 25. Gets hit at the 27. Fights his way towards the 28. This is going to be awfully close to a first down, but it looks like he's.
They came up a yard short.
So he's close enough
it's going to be a 4th and 1. What do you think? I mean, hard to remember, but you were expecting them maybe to go for it here. They're deep in their own territory. You guys have been trading possessions here really since the midway point in the third quarter. Did you have any expectation, Coach Clark, if they would go for this one or not?
Starting to run out of time. 7:48
Well, yeah, boy, it's a tough call right there. We certainly haven't been doing much on offense in the second half, and I'm surprised they went for it here. Again, I think they're feeling a little bit, little bit of desperation here, but it worked out for them.
Here comes the punt team.
Yeah, I mean, they really hadn't gotten much on us all game, and now they've been driving the ball on this drive at least a little bit better than they had, so maybe they thought might as well just keep rolling with it.
And this is, if you don't make it, you're basically, in some ways, conceding the game to them. You're giving the other team the ball on the 25-yard line.
At 240 pounds is always a candidate under center to just get it himself. Knudsen lines up wide. It's the running back, Wethington, who's playing out of the Wildcat. He wants the snap. He gets it. Looks for a seam. Dances. Close to the first down.
Wasn't easy.
Stack him up, but the mark seems like he's got it.
Yeah, it's funny looking back and like watching these games because when you're in the game, you don't realize like, okay, this could be the game right here. You're just so focused on being in the game that you don't realize the big situations when they come up all the time.
Referee is looking first down, he says.
First down for
I can tell you, as a fan watching, you absolutely do realize those situations. But I'm glad to hear the players don't have that mindset. Because if I'm freaking out on the couch, I don't want you freaking out on the field. So that's good to hear.
3-point Dartmouth lead, 7:15 to go in the fourth quarter. Knudsen, handoff, Wethington charges forward for just a few yards.
You guys have stopped him actually on 2 different fourth downs earlier in this game. So for me, we've asked a couple of coaches about this. And offensively, Coach Clark, when your team's going to go for it on fourth down, is there that like short list of plays that will almost guarantee you a yard or two, or is it just your regular playbook, maybe your third down plays?
Well, certainly the last 3 years it was pretty easy. 235-pound guy that you could snap the ball to. That may change. Yeah, you do. Every year you figure out what you're good at, and oh boy. You try as best you can to match up your strength against perceived weakness and take advantage of it. But, again, it's a lot easier to call that play if you know prior to third down that you will go for it on fourth down.
That one puts the ball in Dartmouth territory.
Knudsen calls for it. High snap, but he handles it. Wethington stood up immediately. Back to the line of scrimmage where he's gang tackled. 2nd and 10.
I think it was Jack Trainer in the middle.
I mean, you mentioned that Jared Gerbino factor that would come along in following seasons. Just to have the confidence where it's a 1-yard do-or-die run, and you wind up winning that game on the road a couple of years ago. It's a luxury not a lot of teams have. And we'll see what Towson can do.
Checks in as well on the left side of the defensive line.
The last 3 years we never even blinked. We knew exactly what we were going to do.
And so did the other teams, and it didn't matter.
It didn't matter.
Holder is the lead blocker. Wethington takes it across the 35, spins to the 30, dives forward, twisting 25 into the 24-yard line. That's a first down, and he picks up about.
But really here, guys, aside from that pass where there was plenty of yards after the catch across the middle of the field, they've been picking up some good ground on the run game. Is that, as a defensive back, Charlie, is that kind of frustrating for you guys a little bit, because you can make an impact if it's a pass, but really once they break through that front seven, you guys know they've already picked up way too many yards.
Yeah, it's really just damage control after that
says
point.
Dartmouth's
Trying to get him
D-line.
on the
It's Sean
ground.
Flaherty, the redshirt junior, who everyone's trying to claim flinched first.
Love it when the offensive linemen all point at each other. No, he did it.
But because we've spoiled the penalty disparity, you already know that this is a false start against Towson.
Offense, number 69. 5-yard penalty, first down.
Sean Flaherty of Towson is the culprit. So
So they've already used up, they've already taken up a lot of the field already. This is almost 5 minutes gone by on this drive, which, as you remember, started at the 1 yard line, and now they're right on the edge of field goal position. It depends on the kicker, obviously, but this is really, you got to really stiffen up as a defense, and those penalties definitely help.
15 at the 30, handoff Wethington. He's got some yards, far side, turns the corner, 25.
And another one here.
Forward, 24 out of bounds where he's taken down, but a hold, perhaps coming in the middle of the field, pushing Towson back even further.
This is going to be holding on Towson. 1st and 25 will be the results at the 40-yard line. And for me, this always seems a little more difficult than we give defenses credit for, because the offense is in the mindset where, okay, maybe I can send guys deep, but then check down, and then they can scurry ahead for a big chunk play, and then the second down's a lot more manageable. What kind of balance do you have to strike defensively when you know they need a lot of yards, but maybe not right now? Does that make sense, Charlie?
Yeah. I mean, I think especially against these guys with a good running back and they've been pounding the ball on this drive, like we didn't want to be super soft.
First down inside the 10 at the 6-yard line.
At 35 yards over the middle. Oh, he's excited.
Yard pickup, and it's 1st and goal. 4 minutes, 3 seconds to go. And
we've called his number a few times, but probably worthy of name recognition. That's Christian Summers, who winds up with 11 catches for 140 yards in this game. Andre Dessenberg had 12 catches for 140 in this game, and now Towson's knocking on the door.
Danner Valley, the tight end's in the backfield with the blocking back. Wethington takes the handoff, nowhere to go. No gain, stacked up right at the 5, and it's 2nd and goal at the 5.
It'll be interesting to see how Coach Ambrose plays this.
Is this the situation, Coach? Go ahead, Charlie. Sorry.
No, I was just saying, nice tackle by Miley.
You just keep giving him the ball.
Eric Miley's popped up a lot on these Woods Watch parties. It was that core linebacker group. Miley and Flo, and then Trainer kind of joined them. Was that the core there?
Yeah, Jake Mullen got in there a little bit.
High form, Wethington, the running back. Blocking back Holder, handoff Wethington, dances outside, tries to stretch it, slips one tackle, tries to make another man miss at the 5, and he gets no further. He gets to the 5.
I remember that stiff arm.
The clock continues to wind, and they're taking.
I think I saw Swann in there at the end, right?
Yeah, I was trying to stick my head in.
Stood him up.
Coach Mack to keep me on the field.
13 tackles?
Huh?
Did you get a piece of that one?
I did.
Nuts and time, throws incomplete through the end zone. Arimolani delivered the boom on the quarterback just as he got ready to throw.
His timing is just amazing. Every time
that went from Towson maybe thinking they could bleed the clock out and score a little bit late to maybe only a minute more went off the clock, and now best case scenario is they tie.
Try the double move on Trainer and didn't go too good for him.
Took 3 seconds, Wayne.
Aiden O'Neill 7 for 8 on the year. He's only missed 1, and that was from 50 yards. But on the hash mark, and Dartmouth almost got to him the last time.
Mid-20s, 2-yarder. O'Neill sides it up, snap is away, kick is good, it's blocked! The kick was up and it gets blocked right at
Who got it?
I got it with my left hand.
You got that one, Charlie?
Have to wait the call to see who got the block.
Nice.
Yeah, he had kicked it pretty low.
Great job by the Dartmouth defense.
That was huge.
The snap was good, the hold was great, and the kick was
you always need at least 2 big plays or 2 big stat lines to make it to a Woods Watch party. So Isaiah, the 13 tackles and the pick. Charlie had the pick. I figured you guys knew something else was coming from him.
Sammy McCorkle,
wow, you blew right past that right tackle, right guard, didn't you?
Yeah, their wing stepped out way wide. I don't know, was that you on that side, Swanee, or were you on the other side?
Yeah, that was me on your side.
Way wide to block you.
And I think just over the course of this game, when we came after their field goals, the guys in the middle up front were coming at them really hard, so they really pinched down, and that allowed Charlie to come through. I don't know what gap that is, but allowed you to come clean and get the block.
And they've given him the first down.
There's that keeper we talked about earlier.
In a parallel universe
First down.
where that happens to Dartmouth, a chip shot field goal to tie the game late is blocked. What's it like with Coach Mack on the sideline?
Oh my.
On the third
We.
5 play, which was an incomplete
I don't know if I ever. Did we ever have a field goal block?
Yeah, well, no, not blocked. We missed the chip shot at Penn, and was that 14 or 13?
Running back
Triple over, or whatever the hell it was.
Tight ends are in as part of a jumbo formation. Handoff simple. Ryder Stone lowers his head, dives forward, 32-yard line for 2 yards. And timeout called immediately by Towson. Arc mechanical contract.
First down wins it essentially, right, Coach?
Hennigan back onto the field.
That's the idea.
The snap. Hennigan takes it, dives forward again. He goes
Well,
head first
Jack-
and he
Been a late
he
hit.
goes headlong to the turf.
Thought he could have stayed
Seems
up
to be
there.
okay. Ball's at the 37.
It's a late hit today, for sure, I think.
Timeout called. That's a pickup of 5 yards. And
I like that play
it's
call,
third
Coach,
and about
because,
4 yards.
and again, I'm no expert,
Been outgained by
but you don't pass
200 yards.
to where you lose the
And
clock,
they've got themselves
but you still have that option where you can, it's not just a straight run, so you still have a chance to break it for first down yardage, which you almost get here.
He gets tackled at the 39, needed to get up
Needed
to the 41.
3,
Fourth and 2.
and he gets 2 with a minute 17 to go, so that's how close it was to icing the game right there.
37 yards. He's got a long of 45. Graydon Peterson.
Yeah, this is
talk to him. He's never
grab
had a
your
bad
butts
snap.
time.
Don't want to jinx him here in his 4th year as a really good long snapper. On the money.
I'd certainly like to end the game with the offense on the field.
Delivers away a good punt. They say get away on the ball as it lands at the 28-yard line. That's Lyric's Clue, who says for his teammates to stand by. And it's down with 33 seconds left at the 28-yard line.
And after that 7.5-yard drive ended on the blocked field goal, that's just a minute 46, 4 plays that the defense had to rest. And sure, the run game was good, but the only real pass they had was on 1st and 25, that 35-yarder over the middle. So feels like you guys will be looking out for that one a little more prepared this time.
Pops up pretty quickly and seemingly in
Yeah, 33 seconds. There can absolutely be no big plays.
Some playing time this year and has done quite well. So 73 yards. Towson has to go for the win.
You can't count on blocked field goals every late drive.
Which is
Right.
40
You
plus
can. I don't know.
yards
We'll
to
find
have
out.
a chance at a field goal. They've got no timeouts, 33 seconds, Adam.
Ball spotted middle of the field at the 28-yard line. Snap called for by Knudsen. Drops back, looks to take a strike. He does, complete to Christian Summers at the 40. Inbound.
The nice thing for the D-line is they don't have to worry about stopping the run now.
The clock with 25 seconds left to move the chains. Ball spotted on the left hash. Clock winds under
Good job keeping it in
25 to
bounds.
go. Everyone set. The snap's away for the 41.
Oh, yeah, I didn't even
Drops
notice that.
back, delivers down the middle of the field. Incomplete.
Good
Looking for
play.
a deep strike to Sam Gallahan. It's
Lucas.
2nd and 10 at with 16 seconds left.
Lucas Pivaro on the coverage. Knudsen trying to go long that time.
You'd still need about 25 yards to get yourself in a spot where even a 50-yard field goal would be feasible to tie this game.
See if Flo can get his pass rush on here.
3-point lead for Dartmouth, looking to snap a 2-game losing streak. Knudsen to the shotgun, 3 to the right, takes the snap, dances back a few, fires, far side. Hands incomplete, tried to go to Sam Gallahan, who reached behind him. And with 10 seconds left, it's 3rd and 10.
Jarius Brown on the coverage.
I love JB
Nice
because he
job.
always had the
Got
most
his hand on
confidence
the
and the
ball.
most swag out of all of our DBs, like by far.
Junior from
I love him
Lauderdale,
for that.
Florida, 5'8", 185-pounder. He was in coverage, and if you're Towson here, you need to make a catch but get out of bounds.
And you need to get at least a first down, or it's 4th down, and you'll have to try the kick or a Hail Mary. 10 seconds to go.
10 seconds left, 3rd and 10. Ball at Towson's own 41-yard line. Again, 3 to the right, snap away to Knudsen. Drops
Bringing
back,
pressure.
gets flushed. Rips a potential sack. The pass is complete. Far sideline at the 40. And with a second left,
it,
they say
right?
he's out of bounds. And now
There
the
is
clock moves to triple
one second on the
officials
clock.
are holding the clock for just a
thank you.
moment, though Dartmouth
Oh,
has
yeah.
spilled out onto the field. They want to put time back on the clock.
I forgot it
Towson
ran
has a
down to
first
0.
down
That's
at the
interesting.
39. And the kicking unit
He'll probably fix it here.
Attempt a potential 56-yarder.
Jeremiah Ducey had a chance at a sack there, couldn't quite hang on.
At this point, I guess you got to go Hail Mary or extremely long field goal. From here, it would be 56 yards, which probably a pro team doesn't think twice about, but
hoping that's not the case.
Timeout there by Dartmouth to maybe reset some things, but from 56 to force overtime, we'll see.
Field goal coming up from the redshirt sophomore Pat Toomey on the far right hash mark. We await the snap. The snap is away. The hold is good. The kick is blocked at the line of scrimmage. And Dartmouth with 2 blocks on field goal.
Is that another block?
Another block.
Jeremiah Ducey, one of I think 5 in his career.
We will once again get the call who blocks it, but you're right, Adam. That's the way to put it. They blocked.
As wild as that game was, no points in the fourth quarter, 2 blocked field goals, and those 2 interceptions early from Swann and Miller really made a difference.
Dartmouth's got to be what, 5-0, 5-0 this year now.
Undefeated
In the 2020 season.
You guys were nervous you'd break the streak, but you came through for us, so thank you. We'll give you guys your final words as always. Overall thoughts on the game. Anything you want to say to all the fellow Dartmouth fans and former players and coaches tuned in. Coach Clark, thank you for all your insight that you gave us. A look behind the curtain, offensive coordinator and offensive line coach. Your final thoughts from Hanover today.
Well, I think it's a great thing we're doing here to relive and this season. The few wins that we had this season were really transition into just the success that we had the last 3 years. A lot of these same faces that you're seeing out there right now, with a few exceptions, went on to win a lot of football games, and we took our lumps at times this year, but games like this kept them going. Developed some confidence, and were able to lead us into the future. And I just and the alums out there, we appreciate the continued support you have for Dartmouth, and go Big Green.
Thank you very much, Coach. Next, Isaiah Swann. This was your first start. Obviously, it's going to be memorable no matter what, but you had an interception, 13 tackles. It must have been fun for you to look back and watch this one.
Yeah, this is a really memorable game for me. I just want to thank, Coach Mack for putting me in positions to make plays in this game. Throwing me in the fire, a young guy. Probably didn't have a lot of confidence in me. Maybe he's just saying he did. I don't know, but really appreciate him for that. And I just want to shout out all my older guys for, giving me the knowledge and the wisdom to come out here and be successful. And shout out to my young guys, keep your head up. I know it's looking a little shaky right now, but you guys will get your opportunity for sure. So. And
then Charlie Miller to take us home. Your final thoughts.
Yeah, silver lining here to a tough season, but as a seniors here, we knew that we had a bunch of young studs like Swann coming up that we were going to build on years to come, and we have, and we'll continue to do so.
Guys, this was a lot of fun. A legendary coach and 2 of the more accomplished players in Dartmouth football history. Thank you so much for giving us your insights on this very exciting game. And today's game has been brought to you by the Hanover and West Lebanon Domino's Pizza. Keep them in mind for all of your at-home tailgating needs. They have everything you crave for game day, and they're still offering 100% contactless delivery. Place an order today. Yes, Charlie, you are correct. Dartmouth is 5-0 in the Woods Watch Party 2020. We'll see if they can keep it going next week, and we can't wait to see you all then right here on the Woods Watch Party.